What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So, welcome to another episode of the podcast. So, either you're listening to us on your podcast platform of choice or on the radio, WDJY 99.1 FM in the Atlanta metro area, or the TuneIn app worldwide. So, definitely appreciate you guys checking us out. I posted a bunch of stats. So, we've increased our listenership. There you go. That's a word, right? By many times. And now we have an audience of about 24,000 listeners. So, thank you very much for tuning in and for picking up the book. So if you have not already, please check out the book. It is named after the podcast, where I've taken the interviews of 26 people of color, women, neurodivergent professionals, career switchers, and veterans, and talked about their journey to breaking into cybersecurity. So definitely check that out. You can get it at theothersideofthefirewall.com. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. This article comes from Forbes.com, written by Kate O'Flaherty, and the title is iOS 26.2 Update Now Warning Issued to All iPhone Users. So I came across this. I happened to come across this because every once in a while, I just check on my phone, for the updates and everything. And, twice a week, maybe I'm just looking. And I saw I had a new one to come up. So I was like, okay, well, let me see what this one's about. And as I looked, I saw this update and was like, oh, I was like, okay. I mean, every update is serious. Every update is something that you need. But as I was looking at this one, I was like, okay, this one's kind of serious, right? Because it lists three different CVEs that are affected by this one, right? So when they talk about what's affected, you have CVE 2025-43529, CVE 2025-14174, and then CVE, what was the other one? There was another one that was on here. If I could find it. There was a third one. I can't find it in here right now, but it was three of them that were affected by this, right? So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and get it on this, right? In the article, it says, let your friends and family know. So I sent it to Ryan. I was like, hey man, I was like, your friends and family,
Right.
just in case, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't see this one, but it's crazy, right? So like we see this happening more and more with Apple, right? Because it's becoming more and more popular, right? There used to be a time where Apple was more widely known as just an American product, right? Even though it was manufactured overseas, it was more in America. But over the last, I'd say probably 9, 10 years, it's really expanded its reach. So it's out there everywhere, right? Like you have them in China, you have them overseas. Europe don't play though. If you're not doing what you need to do over there in the EU, they're like, hey, what you mean you got this different charging port on this thing? You either make it this or you can't sell it here. What we gonna do? All of a sudden changes are made. But because of the expansion of it and because of how far reaching it is now, this is way more serious than what it used to be. Like their share of the pie is getting larger and larger when it comes to Apple, when it comes to the grip on the world, right? But you got to make sure you're out there doing your updates, folks. And one of the other things they did was they updated their obsolete list when this came out, right? So they were talking about the phones that will not be supported, phones that are vintage that may get some support, but not everything. And they're creeping up further and further until to the model I had before I just recently upgraded, right? I was like, ooh, I might have jumped out of there just in time, right? Because they were like,
Right.
yeah, we're not doing any parts for you. We're not doing any updates for you because it's free, right? You buy the phone, you get the updates, it's free. But yeah, there comes a point where you may love the device you have, right? You may still have like an iPhone 6, but they're not putting any parts for it. They're not doing any updates for it or whatever it may be. If you got an iPhone 6, that's what, 11 years ago? That's a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Or an iPhone 6. Like you take pretty good care of your phones. I do too, but it's never anything that long. Believe me on that.
It used to be at least 5 years though, because I jumped from a 3 to an 8. I held to that 3 forever.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just like and maybe it's just manufacturing. They're just like we don't want to build it to last forever, right? We want you to keep buying. If we
Right.
come out with a new one every year, we want you to buy it every year. I'm not buying it every year.
twelve hundred
Believe me on
dollars every year. So someone's house note
yeah, that's a mortgage. You know what I mean?
every year.
Yeah. So Apple is out there putting their fixes out there, right? So iOS 26.2, make sure you're out there getting it patched up, right? Because it's affecting some pretty gnarly things, right? It's to the point where like somebody can just get control of your phone, right? They're talking about the application programming interfaces being a vulnerability for this, right? So You just got to make sure you're out there doing what you need to do when it comes to these updates. Fine.
No, absolutely. So there was one, let me see if I can find it. One researcher, Glenn Morgan, UK and I manager at Salt Security, stated, when WebKit flaws are exploited, they can bypass controls and enable deep surveillance, even on encrypted apps. I was like, I've been rocking. So I'm in a beta program voluntarily, right? I just like to see what the newness looks like a little bit ahead of time. But I never really, I thought about it, but not as deeply as I should have, because I've been rocking the 26 whatever, the new glass update for a very long time. Like my wife just got it because they forced her to, basically. They're like, you gonna get this update. So she woke up with the new design. And, it's not for everybody. It's like when they update, Microsoft products and they start moving things around. You're like, why is the ribbon over here? So, in that case, it's a little bit annoying. But I do like the aesthetic. Aside from all that, it makes me wonder how long I had the flaw and how long I was vulnerable. So, because I would have been vulnerable for longer than most, because I just looked and they didn't force me the 26.2 update. It's just sitting there, and not even the notification. Like, how you get the little red dot that says, "Hey, there's an update available." I didn't even get that yet. So when you told me, I actually looked into my updates and it was just sitting there. So, yeah. So be wary when you're in a beta. Like, people are usually worried about their phones getting bricked or their consoles getting bricked when they're in betas, but you have to also think about security, right? If there's something that's half baked or there's some flaw that or vulnerability that's been exposed because of the update, you got the update earlier than everybody else. So I'm already for certain there's people in my phone listening. I'm already paranoid to that extent, but they may actually be there. It might not just be paranoia, right? Might actually be a realized risk because of this. So I'm gonna push the update after this episode because I don't want to brick my phone right now because I don't know how long this update's gonna take to go. But yeah, it's just something to be wary of when you are in beta programs and things of that nature. You might be exposed to flaws for longer. So it's very interesting.
Does it make you think about staying in the beta program? Like, are you giving it more consideration? Like, maybe I don't want to do it then.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna back out of it if I can. Right, I didn't read the fine print. I mean, like, you're a beta member forever. Who knows? Like, nobody reads those long user agreements.
Nobody's reading the EULA. Like, it's
Right.
31 paragraphs. Who wants to?
So and I can't understand anyway, right? So it's in legalese. So for the most part, remember we talked about that? That was an article we talked about earlier in the year. Like there was a doctor and she was trying to get a new law passed where they had to put it in plain English.
Trying to
So
put it in layman's, yeah, so people
yeah,
aren't confused by what they're reading.
right. So that obviously has not gone through yet. Maybe that'll be next year, or at
I don't
least give
think it
us the
will.
option. It should be a toggle, right?
Yeah, I don't think it will though. Like because that is intentionally done, right? Like they do it to where yeah, lawyers can understand it, but the average person can't. So that when they get because they are trying to get more out of you, right? Like it is never in your best interest when you are signing on for stuff. There's always something in it for the company that's allowing for it to happen, and they're doing their best to hide how that is. Like not everybody can go out and just hire a lawyer and be like, read this for me, right? Because if you go into a lawyer's office with any piece of paper, they'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna slide this back to you till you give me $500 just to read it. You
Right,
know what I mean?
right.
And stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I
So,
charge by the hour, no matter how long we
and I'm a
take.
slow reader. Yeah, I'm like, come on now. And you're not hooked on phonics? Come on now. How'd you get through law school?
So it's very interesting though that we live in a day and age where a lot more of this happens, right? Early access is a big thing when it comes to games and software and things of that nature. Like we're going to give it to you before it's fully baked, so you can basically be our beta tester and let us know how we're driving. Well, in this case, that may have extended this flaw a little bit longer for some of us who are in the testing. Something to think about.
And especially when it's your phone, right? Because we've talked about this before too, right? Like we do everything through our phones now. Like you don't
Hmm.
necessarily have to be at home, getting on a laptop or a desktop computer to do things nowadays. Like your computer is in the palm of your hand. They make it so easy for you to have access wherever you may go. So yeah, like you said, man, being in that beta, there's no telling. Hopefully they didn't get you. Hopefully they didn't get you. Right?
Yeah.
I'm confident they probably didn't. But
Luckily for me, I don't talk much on my phone. I rarely have a phone call, but text messages, emails, things of that nature. Right? Phones are ever more private than they used to be. You're basically sharing your hopes and dreams and desires through this digital domain nowadays, and you hope that it's encrypted in transit and at rest. But
yeah, like the whole yeah, that's the whole data at rest and encryption and all that. Like, hopefully, you're not going out there and getting into these wild apps too, man. Because like we've seen that before, with Apple. Like even Apple's Play Store has been got before, whatever they call it, Apple Pay Store, whatever it's called. I don't know, but like Apple Store, just
App
Apple Store,
Store. Yeah,
App Store.
it's
Yeah.
just App Store. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like hopefully it's one of those things where you're not going out and getting some of these wild apps where it's just like it's snuck through the cracks, right? And you see that
Right.
only like 100 people downloaded it. You're like, I don't know about that.
Getting a calculator or a calendar, and you already had those baked in. You'd be like,
Yeah.
what? And then
Why
when you
why do you
install
need
it,
them?
install the calculator, it's like I need access to your pictures and your contacts. You'd be like, what?
Yeah, yeah. To the root dev kit. You're like, what? Nah, man, I'm good. But
All
people
right.
don't even look at that either. People don't look at that either. Like they're just
Yeah,
like, yeah,
that's
access to whatever.
Yeah, that is scary. And Apple does a pretty good job of keeping the store clean, as opposed to Android. Because we just got our youngest a phone for a field trip, and we wanted, it's only gonna be for a day. He's not getting it back. It's basically he'll get it middle school because he'll have more, field trips and things of that nature where we need to get in contact with him. But we got him Android, right? We're all Apple family, but Android phone was free. So I was like, let's get this one. And then immediately I told him like, do not download anything off the store before you ask me. Like, because he was going to the Kennedy Space Center. I was like, you're gonna be bored. You want some apps? Let's download those now. So you have what you need before you get there. So just got to be cautious.
Yeah, but he's got a few years till he's in middle school, right? So like
Next
by
year,
then you oh, is it next year? Okay, all right.
yeah,
All
next
right.
year, yeah.
Okay.
Because he was like, can I keep it? I was like, no. Like you're in grade school, you don't get to keep a phone. You just for this trip, and then you're gonna bring it back. And he was like, so you bought a phone for one? Like he's trying to rationalize and say, you bought a phone for one day? Well, you're gonna get it back. You're just not gonna get it back till after the summer. Hopefully by then he will. I will have preached the cybersecurity Bible to him many times over.
He's too smart, man. He's like, you did what now? If that's what you do, whatever.
Right, but I digress. So I give it back to you, Shannon, for the next topic.
All right, everybody. This next one is from Yahoo Finance, actually, and it's Jamie Tarabay wrote this one. And it's Trump administration turning to private firms in cyber offensive, right? So it's exactly as it states, right? So the current administration is preparing to get private businesses to help mount offensive efforts when it comes to cyber attacks. Now, despite what you may feel, right, when it comes to politics or anything like that, like this can be a good thing, this can be a bad thing, right? There are pros and cons to this, the way I see this, right? So when it comes to the pros of this, like the experience to be able to do this, it's definitely out there in the private sector. I'm telling you right now. Like even with all the training that goes on in the military to train people up to do these types of things, and their schooling is long. Like I know somebody that recently cross-trained over from medical, a friend of mine, and he's going through this path right now. They spend a lot of time going through these things. It is very thorough in what they want them to do. But these private corporations, I mean, that's where the brain power is. We know this, right? These are people that possibly started out, in the federal government and then expanded and got out to the civilian sector and expanded their skill set. But some of the cons of this, though, right? Like when you have private companies that are doing this against nation states or against countries on behest of the United States, they open themselves up to some real issues, right? At that point, where's the line of separation to whether or not they can be treated as combatants, right? Like if it comes down to that point, right? Like if you've done a cyber attack, what's to say that you are not? What's protecting you from being somebody that takes the hits, so to speak, right? Figuratively, that someone who signs up for the military does, right? Like we sign up, it's voluntary for us. We know what we're getting into for the most part, right? As a civilian company, do you know that that's the case, right? Like what are the rules going to be for this? And again, this is kind of something that's been floated out there. There's nothing that's been set in stone, nothing that's been written down or anything like this. And they even mentioned in the article that the previous administration was looking at the same thing, right? So it's not like this is brand new to the current administration. But like I said, there are pros and cons to this. And another thing I worry about is that if for whatever reason, let's say we hire on one of these companies to go and do this for us, right? Offensive cyber attacks. They're out there, they're getting it in. Then all of a sudden they take a big hit, right? To where it's crippling for them. Is the federal government going to have to bail them out? Like as a civilian company, if for whatever reason they're going under or they're having issues, is it going to be on the taxpayer then to bail them out? So like you have the military that's paid to do these types of things as well. Because I don't think it's going to totally go away for the military to perform these functions. Right? I think there's still going to be some government oversight over these companies. I don't think we're just going to be like, hey, go do whatever. There's going to be orders coming down from someone, you know, in uniform or a button up, right? An SES or a civilian of some type to say, hey, here's your marching orders. Here's what you're going to go do. But what happens if for whatever reason they get Is it pwned? Do kids still say that? Do kids
I
still
don't think they
say
say
that
pwn no
now?
more.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's cool anymore, right? But yeah. So like, what happens when that does, and the federal government needs to step in and be like, okay, we'll make you whole again because you did this on behalf of, the United States government. Is that going to be a thing? And I think we just probably have to wait and see what's going to come out from this. What are the ground rules going to be? What are the ROEs? Because like that's what you have in the military. You have your rules of engagement, right, on how you go about doing certain things. Again, this is offensive. This is not from a defensive standpoint. A lot of these companies have that on lock, right? So for them to turn it and do it offensive, it's not a big deal to them, right? It's not going to take a lot of effort for them to turn it up like that. Ryan, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm of two minds on it. So I think, like you said, private companies and those who not support them, but those who work there, right, their employees are going to be a lot swifter at being able to do this than most. They can actually hire talent faster as well, right? They don't have to go through uh, the getting through recruiting to getting through basic military training to then finally able to do their job. They can just hire hackers who have really good resumes or things of that nature, who are out there performing the acts or the duties in some capacity already. However, like you said, it's the protection, because my understanding would be it would it would be very small and clandestine, right? It wouldn't be like, it may be, let's just throw out some, your booze, your khaki, your Jacobs. It may be miter, it may be them, but it would be a smaller subset, right? It'd be a subcontract of those, because I don't think they want that type of exposure. I don't think Jacobs wants to be on any higher on Russia or China or whomever's list, right? Where they take a hit not just to whatever their quote unquote military asset would be, but like to the bigger company, right? Because they also do construction, right? Like Jacobs builds buildings and things of that nature as well. So they do a lot of work across many different sectors. So I don't think they want that type of exposure. I think they would want to have it be a subcontract of themselves, in the hopes that you don't attack the larger enterprise, because other countries are already doing it, right? Like the nation state hackers for Russia and China and all of our other near peers are already in this type of work. And uh, when when we talk about them on the podcast, we usually talk about their actual name, right? It'll be like Cozy Bear, or Electric Koi Fish or something, some cool name, right?
Salt typhoon.
Yeah, some real cool name. But when we speak of them, we know that they're a subset of China or Russia's military, but we never really talk about, because for the most part we don't know if they are actually in uniform or not. Probably not. And we don't really talk about it from that perspective, right? Our perspective is just this group. So you would hope that they would also have the same mindset, because they're in all of our systems. They're attacking all of our critical infrastructure. So they already have a presence in our networks and things of that nature. But if we were to go this route, I think they would target those other entities. Well, I don't know, like they would call some kind of American name like Patriot Eagle or Bald Commando, right? Like something like that to represent America. And they would more focus on those groups. So I think the exposure won't be as bad, but yeah, I think it will be. I don't think that they're going to come organically. I think they'll be built by larger enterprises like a Jacobs, a Booz, a Miter, like you said, things of that nature.
See, I feel differently. I think they want the advertisement. No, they're not going to get into the specifics of what they're doing, right? But I think they want the advertisement for other people to see. Oh, you're doing this for the government? Well, I only need you to do this for me. But if the
Mm,
government trusts you to do these types of things, this is where I'll pay you to do something for me. I think they want a little bit of advertisement, but again, not the specifics. They won't be able to give the specifics if we're being honest, right? Like it'll be one of those things where the Chinese news source would have to say, "Hey, we know that Booz or Miter or Lockheed or Boeing or whoever. I know they're more aeronautical, but like like they GDIT, right? General Dynamics. We have it on good authority. These guys are the ones that are out here doing this. We will not take it lying down, right?
right, right. They shut down like Western Russia or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So like I think they want I think they want a little bit of smoke. So not a lot of smoke, right? But again, like the ROEs haven't been written. We don't know how we would make them whole again if something should happen, right? Or if going into the arrangement, like maybe that's the arrangement, like, hey, we'll allow you to do this for us. We'll pay you handsomely. But if you get got, like if you're not taking care of business and you get got, you're on your own. You're gonna twist in the wind, which I don't know if they're gonna allow them to do that, right? We might get back to too big to fail or something like that, to where they'd be like, no, we'll help you. We got to bail you out because you employ so many people or whatever it may be.
Right.
But
But that's also
yeah,
interesting to think. So like when we were in the in the sandbox, right? Like in the Middle East, you would have like an AOC, right? Area Operations Center, and in there would sit like a general and their lawyer, and then they would, conduct kinetic strikes and things of that nature. You have to get it, you know, QC'd, right? Like you're going to be sitting there, you're like, okay, we're going to use this type of payload. It's going to have this type of splash damage, and these are the people who are going to be affected, right? This high value target, and then these, unfortunately, collateral damage, right? And who are they, right? Are they also combatants, or are they civilians, or are they family? And then they got down to a point where, I've heard stories where it's like, we're going to use this payload on this because we know that it'll only kill the passengers of this vehicle and it won't kill people on the street. Or, I mean, like they would be able to zero it in pretty tight, and then the lawyer would be like, okay, that's cool. And then boom, we could strike. I would think there would have to be something similar between those private organizations and the military, only because a quote unquote cyber attack could also be a kinetic strike when it challenges critical infrastructure, right? So you take down a power plant, and then the second and third order effects is it affects a hospital, and people are on life support and they pass away, or people aren't able to get clean running water, or things of that nature, and you can cause real collateral damage through a cyber attack. So I would think it'd be the same thing. You would have to have someone in some capacity who is wargaming, like, we can do this, but we can't do that. We can do this, but we can't do that. Because at the end of the day, I mean, not to be hyperbolic, you don't have a civilian at the controls of missiles. Who's sitting there hitting the button, right? It's always a military person who has to hit the button, because all these command authorities and all this doctrine, it's just not legal for that to be the case. They have to be, a member of the military. So it'll probably be tiered in that way, right? To keep them safe from committing a war crime on the behalf of the military.
And definitely it'll be that they'll have a military lawyer in there to make sure that what they're about to do. That's why I said that it will not be that the government is totally out of it. The military is not totally out of it, right? Because you still fall under Geneva Conventions when you're doing stuff like that, right? Like you cannot, like the thing you're talking about, the example you give with the hospital, like that would be a Geneva Conventions violation, right? Like you're not supposed to be doing that. They're not combatants. They're in there seeking treatment. You're not supposed to target them, whether it be inadvertent or not, right? Like you'd have to explain that away on, okay, we didn't think this was going to happen, right? We did our research. This is what the research we did. This is how we figured it was going to go down. That wasn't the case. Like, okay, well, you should have researched harder, right? Like, who are we taking to the
Right.
Hague? Who's going to
Right.
the Hague? The
Right.
CEO of General Dynamics. What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It,
there
there
has to be
will,
a there would have to be a lot of separation, because what if you did affect the power grid in the wintertime? People freeze to death, right? Like there's a lot to unpack there. So, or maybe it's just hacking, right? Like maybe they will never go past the extent of stealing information or causing ransomware or things of that nature. But even we saw that it can spread, right? Like you could attack one thing, one sector, right? Let's go for the financial sector, and somehow impact medical records, right? Things of that nature. Because Stuxnet, right? Like you had that thing was traveling the globe, and it didn't. It was harmless unless you were a centrifuge, and then it was hardcore, right? So it's pretty crazy.
because it says it's offensive attacks that they're looking at them doing. Like, you're doing that to have an effect. You're not doing that to have the, well, maybe you are, to have the smallest effect possible, right? Like you still have a goal you're trying to achieve by doing this, right? Like, how do we achieve that goal, right? And you have to be careful somebody doesn't get overzealous, right? Like somebody, whether it be in the government or whatever, doesn't get overzealous and be like, okay, hit him again, right? Like, you know what I mean? I just watched Die Hard last night, right? When the guys were in the truck trying to go in the building, he was like, hit him again. McClane's like, stop it, you made your point, Hans. Like, so like it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know, man. This can be a slippery slope. Again, there are pros and cons, but like the cons of this, they could have a financial toll, and they could have a fatal toll, right? To where people are dying from it. But and I understand that's the world we live in, right? Like, and I don't want to sound insensitive. People die all the time. I get it, but like when you're doing stuff like this, that is, you have to be prepared to deal with that cost. And here's the thing, you don't know if the people that are in those civilian companies, if they're prepared to deal with that, right? Like we have people that are in the military that are drone operators that when they see what they have done, like they can't deal with it. You know what I mean? They're like, man, I'm taking lives. You know what I mean? And so when these people that are civilians that aren't really used to this and are not calloused to this, I guess you could say, right? And I'm not saying everybody in the military is calloused to it, but like we know what we signed up for. There is a possibility you're going to put a gun in my hands, right? And I'm going to go into a foreign land and I'm going to take somebody's life. It's something I have to think about for a little while. Maybe that's just not the case with these civilians, right? Through a keyboard, not the guns, through a keyboard.
Right. Hey, they're attaching guns to drones. It's crazy. It's crazy out here in the streets. But I doubt that would definitely be a military offensive, right? I don't think they would give that to civilians. At least I hope not. I can just see they're like, we need to form a team, and they go find like one of those esports teams, like Team Fatality. We need to enlist. You need to get conscripted real quick so you can fly these drones with flamethrowers into the field. Like, but I'm just being silly. But no, it is crazy. But again, I don't think it's anything different than what our near peers are doing. We're just feeling more comfortable to finally catch up in that regard. So crazy, crazy streets. But I mean, we may get some hackers off the streets, right? Get them a more cozy, secure job so they can stop attacking us internally and start to work on behalf of the government.
Or you can have a lot of instances like swordfish happen where you think you're working for somebody that's trying to just do right
Yeah,
and it's not.
that is a that is a mean callback. Swordfish. That movie was so cool. John Travolta, they had that scene with the ball bearings. I was
Yeah.
like, man, this is nuts. I'm actually gonna watch it to see if it holds up. It probably does not. It'll probably be terrible nowadays.
Halle Berry's in there. It holds up.
John Travolta with hair and Halle Berry. It's crazy, crazy world. So this episode's a little bit different because we're in the holidays. I didn't want to bog it all down with stories, topics, and things of that nature. Just kind of free form a little bit. Talk about the year. Do a quick recap as we move forward, and talk about our lives and things of that nature like we normally do. Games, books, all that cool stuff. So I start out with some stats. The Nielsen verified stats are saying that we've increased our listener ship. We are now at 24,104 weekly radio listeners. According to Apple, Spotify, browsers, and RSS apps, we are now at 12,758 year to date. Podcast downloads. It would be higher if we were still doing 4 episodes a week, but now we've changed the format, right, to save my life. So I'm not creating 4 thumbnails and 4 descriptions. It was a lot. We our community is a certain age and demographic, so it is believed, right? I can't say for certain, but based upon our stats and people's feedback, we are reaching a community of CISOs, VCISOs, GRC leaders, federal contractors, early career professionals, and career changers is our demographic. And we have a strong daily presence on LinkedIn because I post a lot. So as both the show and myself. And yeah, so that's what the stats are saying. So it's definitely going in the right direction. Hopefully next year we just continue to expand, maybe reach a new market as well. I'm not sure just yet, but it's been a real cool journey. I've had the opportunity to do some cool stuff. I did some stuff with our podcast, a little bit different when it came to interviews and things of that nature. I got to talk to a bunch of new guests on the show, and I changed sectors, right? I went from the public sector early in the year before the whole Doge nonsense took place to now I work in the financial sector, right? As a second line of defense risk manager for a Fortune 100 bank. So lots of change, lots of growth, lots of learnings, and yeah, I'm just ready to take that to the new year.
So it's crazy, right? So like with your transition and everything, and I know you and Chris do a good job of telling me how the real world is. Like so let me ask you, just to throw it out there to you, right? Like I know you like your job, but like is there ever a time where you're like, man, sometimes I wish I was still working with the federal government, like with some of the stuff that goes on, especially knowing what you know, like reading the stories and everything
Right.
like that. Are you like, man, I wish I was in there to do something about that or try to help that a different way, or are you just like, no, I'm good where I'm at. All is
So
good.
yeah, so I do like I do miss working like mostly like the cliche, right? I miss the people, I miss the mission. I do. It's like what I try to do, right, is I try to seek purpose in all the jobs that I have. So when I worked for the military, that just came naturally, right? Like you had a mission, you knew what it was driving towards. You saw the results and things of that nature. But as you transition into the civilian sector, it's more about the small victories, right? So like when I'm doing my consulting thing, it's about protecting the small business, sometimes from itself and not just checking the box because they can usually come to you because they need some kind of a compliance metric. But what I try to walk away with is cybersecurity is national security. So if I'm saving this mom and pop, then it's feeding back into the hopper, but it's just several degrees of separation between me and the national defense mission now. Same thing when it comes to working at the bank, right? Like the bank's purpose is generate profit or to seek out new opportunities for growth. And I kind of just dialed it back to, okay, I have a credit card with both of these banks I now work for, right? Because um, my company was absorbed by an even larger entity, and I have credit cards in both, so I'm protecting my stuff as well as my family, and just the little guys out there. And it just boils up to being a national security thing several degrees up the chain because some of these banks like the bank I work for is considered a SIFI, so that's a significant financial institution. So that means that it can have a material impact on the financial sector. So if we were to quote unquote suffer enough to fail, it could impact markets, and then that's not just hurting people with lots of money in their banks, but more uh, uh, hurt or damage or material impact on those who have a little bit in their banks, right? Because then they'll lose it all. So that's kind of how I frame it. So I can kind of still feel like that military purpose, but this is me. Some people just in there for the bag.
It doesn't hurt, right, to get paid for your talents, right? Like, so you put the time in, right? You got the search, you got the degree, like you put the time in, man. No, it's just a curiosity thing for me, right? Because like with me still working in DoD, there are days I'm like, man, like there's sometimes I wish there was a change here, right? Like when you have your government shutdowns or when you see, and especially we've done it this year, right? Where we've done articles where money's being taken away from the federal government when it comes to cybersecurity, right? And I'm like, man, I hate to see that. Or places are getting, and it's weird because places are losing personnel, right? Like they'll say, okay, says like you don't need all these people, right? And then they're like, okay, yeah, we cut too deep. You need more people,
Mm,
right? Like like
right,
the whole yo-yo of that is like, look, just take your time doing these certain types of things, and we won't have to worry about this. But like, I worry that there's going to be a cut that's too deep that we're not going to be able to come back from. You know what I mean? In the Department of Defense or in the federal government, I should say. I worry that that could be a thing, and it's just you never want to be in that position, right? Because I mean, I go, and the thing is, like, I like the people I work with too, man. Like I say it often at work. I'm like, yeah, I could go somewhere else and probably make some more money, right? But like the people I work with, like having the chemistry and the
mm,
way, and again, it's a lot of veterans, right? So it's like a lot of us with similar experiences to where we're like, oh, when I was in, we got Air
right,
Force, we got Navy, we got Army, you know what I mean? And we talk about the experiences, and like, it seems like I learned something new every day. I'm like, what? I was like, that's what y'all do in the army? Like, oh, okay. No, that's not an Air Force thing. That's
right.
just what we did. You know what I mean? So like, I like the people I work with, man. But like, people come and people go, right? And like it happens, right? Especially after this last government shutdown, like it went on for so long. People are like, I possibly have to do something better for my family, right? Like there are some people that don't have other things to fall back on. I have other sources of income to fall back on to where it doesn't hit me as hard as it does other people that don't have those. You know what I mean? It sucks to see them leave, but they've got to do what's better for their family, right? Like you hope you keep in touch. Every once in a while you'll exchange a message, happy whatever insert holiday here, right? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, I like what I do. I like the people I work with, but there are times where and I think that's with every job, right? Like there's times where it just gets to be you're like, man, I want this to be good. But no, like to fall back on what we've talked about throughout the year, man, like the money and the positions being cut from the federal government for cybersecurity, like my New Year's wish, I shouldn't call it a resolution, is for that to stop happening, right? Like realize how
Right.
important cybersecurity is out there and to stop making that the first cut. You know what I mean? That's what I want to happen.
Yeah. Again, I think it's about us as in the career field, able to articulate how intertwined cyber is with IT, right? And how that bottom line can be impacted, whether it be that the government's supposed to take care of its people and project power and things of that nature, and how not having proper security can diminish or turn it against you. Just like we're supposed to do the same thing in the private sector by saying like it can hurt your bottom line, right? Shareholders will be mad if you cut here and then we have a breach or an attack or things of that nature. So it's just hard to get them to understand, but I hope, as every year passes, people get a better understanding of what cybersecurity is and how it impacts them and things of that nature. But, it's again, it's just a hope. But yeah, I
That
think we had a
that's the reason you do the show, right? Is to get that message out there, right? You getting it out there to tens of thousands of listeners. You know what I mean? So let's
right.
expand on that. Hundreds of thousands of listeners next year. That's the goal, right? Yeah.
It reminds me that you ever see Rick Ross, where he's talking about chickens. Like, so he's talking about his new, yeah, he's talking about his new house. And he's like, we're gonna have thousands of
What?
chickens, because he has like a little farm in it. Yeah, but he doesn't make the chicken noise. He makes a duck noise. He's like quacking. It's hilarious. I'll send it to you.
What? Oh my gosh! In the old Holyfield mansion? You talking about his Atlanta house? You
Yeah,
said
his
Rick
Atlanta
Ross,
house.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where they shot Coming to America, the sequel. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely the hope. Same thing with the book, right? Like I hope it gets to more people's hands. I also hope to finish my second one next year, and shop, this time I'll shop it around. I want to see what the experience is like to find a publisher and go from there. Like my understanding, right? Because I watch a lot of YouTube videos of things of that nature. Your next book sells your last book. So, if I want this book to get in more people's hands, then I got to make sure the next one is a good one and it's out there as well. I can't figure out which project I want to do first. There's one that I want to do detailing the book scam stuff and kind of integrate that into more of a different types of scams and then how they work and how you can protect yourself. But then there's also one on entrepreneurship, going a little bit further into, because when I talk to people about their cyber journey, they also tell me about their business journey, right? So I have a lot of material I could use for that one as well. So I got to figure out which of those projects I want to push forward first, and then try to knock it out before mid next year, because I would like to release it around the same time I release this one, so in the July timeframe, if possible. But writing books takes a long time, and I like doing it the old way, right? I'm like sitting there and I'm typing, I'm retyping, I'm crafting. I'm not. The only thing that could be even more strenuous would be to have an actual typewriter. You're like clack 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 clack. You slide the thing.
Y'all here doing a Murder She Wrote book.
Right.
Jessica, what's her name?
Uh,
I can't remember. For Murder She Wrote though. Jessica,
Murder She
whatever her
Wrote.
name
Yeah.
was on the show. Yeah. Yeah. I heard doing it like her, man. She was on the typewriter. Someone
Mhm.
always comes to her house when she's doing the book. She got to put the glasses down.
Right. That would be the, or is it Angela Lansbury?
Angela Lansbury is her real name, but in the show, it was Jessica.
Oh yeah, I can't remember that one.
It's gonna get me. It's
That's a
gonna get
deep
me.
cut. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, if I can find one of those old school typewriters that has like a dongle to convert it to PC. What is that called? A PCI? Is that what it's called? I can't remember the old school Canon plug before we had USB. Remember
Yeah,
we had the little weird shape one? I think it was called a PCI.
yeah, that's right.
It's crazy. And
Fletcher,
I need
Jessica Fletcher is her name.
Jessica Fletcher. There it is. There it is. If you understand this reference, it's time for you to get your prostate checked. Because you are old for certain. But yeah, so what's your plans for the new year? You got anything special happening?
No, man. My mother-in-law came in last week. She's going to be here till right before the new year. The grandchildren are enjoying her grandchildren, not my grandchildren. I'm not there yet, but they're enjoying having her here. You know what I mean? But she'll be here through Christmas. She comes for Christmas every year, so it's kind of the routine. You know what I mean? But she's here a little bit longer. She retired last year. She's able to spend time, just traveling and doing whatever. She ain't got to worry about having time off or doing whatever. So yeah, she's gonna be here till right before the new year. This past week was pretty good, man. Like so, it's weird. So my youngest daughter, right? Like she had a school performance, like a choir chorus type thing, right? And it's weird because she's so energetic. She loves playing with her friends, and like you see her smiling and playing. And I have to tell her, "Don't do that. Get up off the ground."
Right.
But like when she gets up on that stage and there's a lot of people watching and she's around a lot of people, you can't get a smile out of her. And I'm just like, what is going on? I was like, girl, you beautiful like your daddy. Go ahead and let that smile show. You know what I mean? I want to do a soul girl. Let that smile show. but yeah, she like I get because I every time we go to these events, we take pictures, we take video and stuff, and it's like it's stuff I can't even send out to family. You know what I mean? Like my dad has a frame that I send stuff to. Like whenever you do pictures, you email it to the frame. And like I can't even send these. I'm like, she's not smiling. She don't like she enjoying herself. He might call CPS on me. Like, what are you doing to my baby? You know, that's what he goes say. I'm like, look, I tell you, she just doesn't like doing the performances and stuff. You get plenty of pictures where she's smiling and doing stuff like that. But, yeah, so I had that going on this past week. We went out to an event. My wife, she helps out one of her friends in a real estate company, and they had a booth for a tree during a tree lighting event, right? And so it was take pictures with the Grinch is what it
Okay.
was, right? So yeah, that was a fun time. They had some food trucks there. So my daughter and the same youngest daughter, right? She has expensive taste. I might need to put an end to this. But I don't know if I ever told the story. I might have told it to you. I don't know if I ever told it to the audience. But she told one of her bus riding friends that she had a private Santa at home, and that was me. So like the
Nice.
friend the friend confronted my wife, confronted, right? And she's like 7. She was like, I don't believe some of the stuff that she tells me about what goes on in your house, right? And so when my wife asked my daughter, she's like, what do you tell her? She's like, well, I just tell her, my dad is like a private Santa because he just gets us whatever I want. And I'm like,
Right.
okay. I was like, yes, it's true. I agree, but you ain't got to be putting the business out in the street like that, right? Like, whatever, maybe keep it in house. But
Hilarious.
yeah, man, like it's funny, right? I've told people that and they laugh, and I'm just like, oh, okay, all right. I was
Yeah,
like,
but
maybe I
she like, you ain't got one of these? You got one of these?
should.
Just get you what you want?
Yeah, like, like, man, she's the youngest, she's the last, so and it's one of those things. I've talked about this before too. Like the younger two are in a position more so than when I was Airman Tynes, the older two had to go through that time frame, right? Airman Tynes was like, hey, eat what we eating today? What kind of beans and franks we eating today? Okay, it wasn't that bad, but still, like it wasn't as good as it is today, right? Like my youngest, she loves her Whataburger, so if she wants Whataburger, I'm like, all right, let's go to Whataburger, right? My wife is like, I don't want to go to Whataburger. Like I'm still going, but the baby asked for it. She's the
Right.
baby. She's 7. She ain't a baby. Is that you ever watch My Wife and Kids?
Yes. Well, yeah, a few times. Yeah, yeah.
So like Katie, when she was younger, the youngest daughter, like there came a point where she was too old to be doing the cute stuff, and they got sick of it. Like I think I might be getting there because every once in a while I do the baby voice. I'm like, no, 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 we ain't doing that. We're not doing that. Yeah, it's my own doing. I've created this monster. Yeah, man, movie watching. Like I mentioned earlier, I watched Die Hard 1 and 2. Uh,
Get you ready for the Christmas season.
that's the thing, right? Like
Yeah.
it's popping up, and I'm like, yeah, that's Christmas, right? Because it's always in dispute whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie, right?
It's
It's in
absolutely a
dispute
Christmas movie.
at 100%, right? But people are like, I don't know about that. I'm like, what do you see? What is going on? You go to Nakatomi Plaza, it's a Christmas party,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Exactly.
like that's what it is, right? It's LA, so there's no snow, but still, the second one there's snow, right? Because they're in DC for the second one, but I can't find the third one streaming anywhere without paying for it though. Like,
Right, right.
so I'm like, man, I'm like that. I skip the third one if I do that, right? Like, I wanna watch them all. Not Live Free or Die. Or which one? Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard with a Vengeance is the
Yeah,
fourth
Die
one.
Hard with Vengeance.
Die
Yeah.
Hard with a Vengeance is the fourth one. Yeah, can't find it, man. So can't find it for free. But that's kind of it for like the TV watching and whatnot. I've been hanging out, like I said, Grammy is here, so we've been going out doing stuff with her. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it for me. What about you?
Same old, same old. So movie watching, haven't really done a lot of it. I've been watching a lot of TV shows, right? So I'm caught up on my Survivor. Survivor's on like season 49. I didn't start watching it until like 3 seasons ago. So so I'm not a big Survivor fan, but I watch it with my wife, and then sometimes our oldest son, Junior, he'll sit down and watch it with us. It's just it's a fun watch, right? Like you get in, you get out, you get to see these people doing these grueling challenges, being half starved. It's a good time. Like I would never do it. No, thank you. The way my back and my knees are set up, not happening. But they build storylines out of it, things of that nature. So I'm down. So it's wrapping up, and they do 2 seasons a year. That's why they're up so high, right? So they've been around for 25 years. So season 50 is about to drop. So that one should be good because I think they're going to bring back a bunch of old cast members, like the best, to all compete against each other. So that'd be fun. Aside from that, though,
Some of them might be old though if they do that. Like if they bring it back the best of the
yeah,
best.
I don't think
What
they can
about
bring it
the
back to, yeah, not the ones from 25 years ago. They won't be able to do the challenges, but the social game would be crazy, right? Like because they're blindsiding each other and playing politics. It's a fun watch. But I've been watching Pluribus. I haven't been talking about it because it's a weekly show, and I keep forgetting to say I'm watching it. Really keep me engaged, right? Excuse me, man, my voice is going. Hold on. There we go. It's worse now.
I've seen it. That's the one on Apple, right? On Apple TV.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen it on Apple TV, and I haven't I've watched the trailer, and I'm like, man, I can't really get what it is about. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's just something that I see pop up because it
Right.
was it was a show, The Last Frontier, I was watching on there, which I got to get back to it. But it's getting to a point where it's like, man, you guys are slow moving now, right? Like you
Hmm.
had a point where you were good, and now it's so, like tell me what I'm here for at this point, right? We got like 3 episodes left. Tell me what I'm here for.
Right.
The
So
Pluribus.
You might like it though. So the premise, and they give it away in the trailer though, is the entire world is infected by something. So right, it's one hive mind, and there's only a few people, like the main character, who is immune for whatever reason. So when you're watching the show, because it's kind of a different take on the zombie show, right? Like it's like, oh, you got to survive and things of that nature. But like no, they're all of one mind, and they're very positive. They want to make sure that the people who are still around, which is only a very small population, are well taken care of until they can figure out how to integrate them as well. So and this lady is very very unhappy in her life, and she might be the mankind's last chance.
She's the Will Smith and I Am Legend. Is that what it is? Like she's
Kind of,
immune
yeah,
to
yeah,
whatever
kind
they're
of.
doing.
But it's very entertaining, right? So it's made by the one of the creators of Breaking Bad, but his roots come from he was a writer on X Files. So very sci-fi influenced, grounded, right? They keep it pretty grounded as well, even though everyone's on Earth is of one mind. It doesn't get too crazy, and it's funny, right? It's pretty humorous. Like the one episode out of nowhere, John Cena was in it. He said, "Hi, we're John Cena," and he's kind of breaking down. He's like doing like an infomercial. He's breaking down what has just transpired for for the handful of people who are there to watch it. So I think it's cool. It's a cool concept.
That's not what I got from the trailer though. Like maybe I need to watch it again, but I couldn't figure out where they were going with it and what was what.
I'd say give it a shot. Like the last episode was probably the slowest of them. Like it's showing two different immune people and kind of their journey with in isolation, right? So like if you don't want them around you, they won't be around you. So like the one lady, she not to give too much away, but like she really made them upset. So they're kind of like they need their space from her, so they just left her whole city. So she's by herself. And then the one guy, he's kind of a shut in. So he was probably a shut in before this happened, so it's only worse, right? And they keep trying to offer him help, and he just keeps rejecting it. He's like, uh, he's trying to make his way across a certain region, and they keep warning him like, "Hey, you're gonna get dehydrated. You're gonna like, here's the fauna, here's the plant life, here's the animals that can make you sick." And he's not trying to hear any of it, and they just keep trying to intervene, but they can't force anything on you. They just provide the tools, the capability. Like they drive by in a pickup truck with a bottle of water as he's walking the streets because he ran out of gas, and he's like, I don't, he won't accept anything from them because he's hyper paranoid, like you would be. Like they're gonna try to poison me or make me one of them. So it's very very slow episode because it's like they're not talking to people. They're talking to themselves from time to time, and then they're just going about their days.
So you have to want into the hive mind. You have to be like, yes, I want to be a part of this, and then they do whatever they
If they
do.
didn't get you already. So, and we can talk about it offline because I don't want to spoil
Yeah,
it for
yeah, yeah.
anybody.
I got you. I got
But
you.
they're not supposed like they can't harm anything. So they can't pick fruit. They can't cut grass. They can't hunt animals. So they're limited to what was available before the event happened. And as things make themselves available, it's like so like an apple falls off a tree, now we can eat that apple. Like that's the type of world they're living in now. And these people are the exact opposite because they're still human. They don't care about that. So
That's interesting.
it's a show. Like it's a different take. 'Cause, yeah, because you would think like it's gonna be like a zombie show, and it's really not.
You reminded me of something when you were talking earlier too, man. So I did watch a documentary on The Biggest Loser
Oh, okay.
and that show. I did watch that as well, which was an interesting take on things, man, because they have a few of the past contestants, right? And they talk about how they put the weight back on, how unhealthy it was.
No,
Apparently, there was a controversy where they were giving them like caffeine pills and stuff like that. Jillian Michaels.
really.
She fessed to it apparently. I never watched the show and I never paid attention to it. I know of Jillian Michaels, but I didn't know she fessed to doing something that they weren't supposed to do. So like they had a doctor on the show that was like, I don't want you to do these things, and they would just try to find ways to go around him. You know what I mean? Because he's like, this is the healthy way to do it. And he was kind of, he wasn't a therapist. He was a medical doctor, but he was kind of a therapist for some of them because they were like, oh, I'm struggling so much, this, that, and the third. And then he'd be like encouragement or tell them to do something. But yeah, they would try to avoid him for some of the things. Because like when you watch these clips, like some of the weight these people were losing in a week, definitely.
Crazy. Yeah, they
Like
would
when you
drop like
start getting
20
into double
pounds.
digits, yeah. Like I'm just like, that is not healthy. So like there was one, apparently it's one of the more recent ones. There was one lady that came out that it even shocked the trainers. Like they show their face and you're like, whoa. They're like, oh my. I think Jillian Michaels actually put her hands up to her face like, oh my God. And she's rough. She's rough. She don't seem to show no emotion for anybody. You know what I mean? But she was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like it was an interesting choice.
Well, you lost 30 pounds. That's all muscle
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
You loosen important things.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That sounds interesting though, because I used to watch that show like way back in the day when it was
Really?
running. Yeah, some of it was encouraging, but like yeah, I didn't know they were putting the weight back on. That's not good.
Yeah.
Like
Like
Luther
you see him
Vandross,
now. Yeah.
big Luther, skinny Luther.
Luther used to go back and forth, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of
Never
weight
change
loss,
my
so
mind.
I'm down 10. Today's weigh-in day.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm down 10. I'm getting working my way back to what my goal is 200. So, uh, because yeah, I hit 241 earlier this year, and I was like,
No
okay,
way.
yeah, I was like, okay, I got it. Yeah, and then not it was not in the right places. I had to buy another X on the shirts because they weren't
Yeah.
fitting right. Yeah, I was like, nah, it's not good. It's not good weight. So that's when I went on the diet. So, but yeah, just diet and a little bit more exercise. I already lost 10. Hopefully, when I weigh myself today, it'll be I'll be down 15. Not since the 10, but in
Yeah.
totality.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Good for you. What's crazy is that I was losing weight during the shutdown. It's crazy because like the wife and I, like I said, it was like we were dating again, man. Like we going out to lunch and then we go do old people stuff, right? And we go to Costco, we go to the
Right,
grocery
right.
store, you know what I mean? But like I was losing weight, but I was going to the gym every day, and I try to do that anyway, right? Not every day, 6 days a week. Every time I said I was gonna go to the gym, I'd go to the gym. So, but yeah, man, I'm losing the battle in the kitchen. Like I know that. Like I go to the gym, I get it in the gym, right? I'm doing my thing. Them irons is going up. You know what I mean? But like I get home and I'm like, man, I had a good workout. I deserve a treat. And maybe I'll eat tomorrow's treat today because I'm going to work out
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow. And it's
Right,
just a
right.
vicious cycle, right? I'm two treats every day. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
gonna be the hard part is when I decide to start turning it back on, because all I'm eating right now, like in the morning, I'll eat like yogurt and piece of fruit. Then the lunch is either a smoothie or a salad with the only protein is chicken, right? Grilled chicken. And then for dinner, two chicken breasts and maybe a salad or some kind of vegetable like broccoli or cauliflower or something like that. So I've been very disciplined. And then if I want a snack, I get like these quick rolled rice cakes, right? So I get like one of those. They're like 50 calories or something like that. Like it's like I'm starting to like them. So that's how I know things are going
they got good flavor.
well.
They got good
Yeah,
flavors with them though, man. They got like the cinnamon apple or something, or apple cinnamon or something
yeah.
like
I do
that.
the caramel.
And then yeah,
Yeah, it feels like I'm cheating, like I'm eating candy, right? But yeah, that's it. And then plain black coffee, which I only drink black coffee anyway, or tea. Yep, that's been my life.
good for you, man.
But yeah,
Good.
when I turn it back on though, the body's gonna be like, oh, calories. Let me hold on to these. So it's gonna be a weird transition. I gotta really not go hardcore when I come back.
I know you got some gym equipment at home, man. Like so you just staying at home or you going to one of these places where you got,
So staying at home and half doing it, right? So I need to probably get a gym membership because if I go to a place and I have to perform, at home I'll be like, today I'm a little tired.
but
So
it's the convenience of having it at home too, right? So
yeah,
like, I guess the pros and cons of it. Like I know people that used to go to the gym. I used to see the gym all the time. I'm the mayor at my gym. I'm kissing babies, shaking hands. You know what I mean? Like I
right.
know a lot of people there. Uh, some people want to do it at home because of the convenience of it, right? They don't want to drive in and do all that, right? And in the winter, like we had a snow day last week, right? Like where they closed it down, right? And I didn't dare venture out in it. You know what I mean? But I have 24-hour access. It's a military gym. They give you 24-hour access to get
Gotcha.
in there and
Right.
whatnot. It's Peterson's gym. So like I just go in there whenever I want. Whenever the 24-hour access is working. Sometimes it's been iffy lately. If I don't do that one, I go to another installation where I have 24-hour access, and theirs isn't working that well either. So it's what it is, right?
Right.
But no, man, like the convenience of having it at home, I think it would be a good thing. But I think if I had it at home, I would definitely push it off and be like, I'll do it later in the day. And then later in the day comes and like something else comes up or something else comes up. So I'm like, I do it before work. I go in, do it, shower, go to work. It works best for me to know I got to get out of the house.
Yeah. So that's probably what I have to do. Or to just get more discipline. Because like I thought the hard part was going to be the diet. That seems to be like once I got past the first week, I'm just like, man, this is what I eat now. So it is what it is. Um, but yeah, that I just not have not been getting it in like I should be. So this week, tomorrow, because today I'm a mow the grass. I count that as workout. But tomorrow I'm gonna get it in. It's gonna happen. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And no real games are still going through that post game depression thing I was talking about, where it's just like, I don't want to play this. I don't really want to play that. So after that, Ghost of Yote broke me. But it's been a good year, right? Like Expedition 33 was good. Ghost of Yote was good. What else did I play? Play something else. Donkey Kong Bonanza. That was good. But right now, I downloaded Hades 2, playing that a little bit sparingly, right? Trying to get myself back into playing games while I wait for whatever the next big game is going to be next year. So hopefully Grand Theft Auto
Like
6.
we know what it is, just see if it gets
Hopefully.
delayed again.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man. Thank you, for always hopping on the mic with me. Again, we're on WDJY 99.1 FM, Atlanta metro area, as well as the TuneIn app. We're on your podcast platform of choice. You can pick up the book at theothersideofthefirewall.com. And we're looking for sponsors, right? So I have a sponsor package I'm building out. I'm going to start pushing it out because, again, we have access to all of these listeners. So if you're trying to advertise your product and it makes sense for our audience, right? I'm not trying to sell vape pens and boxers over here, but if you're trying to actually provide value, we would like to, oh man, my voice is totally gone. We'd like to learn more about you and offer you these packages, right? Give me a person at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. Or you can go to my personal webpage, which is ryanwilliamsenior.com. And then, of course, Shannon is unavailable. Hit me up if you want to talk to Shannon. But with that being said, stay safe, stay secure.